This is the year. Is something I've heard in Seattle for the Mariners for a lot of years now. But this was the year for them. They broke the longest playoff drought of 21 years, and now it belongs to the Sacramento Kings at 16 years. I don't know what they say in Sacramento, but for me at least, I think it might be the year for them. The vibes feel right. And obviously, I'm not basing it solely on the vibes being right. I think they have a good team going into next year, and I think they can really compete for a playoff spot. Let's start at the top in their biggest change, which was hiring Mike Brown. Look at the Warriors. Assistant coach of the Warriors, championship pedigree. What can I say? But no, I mean, he's a good coach. He has that head coaching experience before. He's a defensive-minded coach, which is what the Kings really need. I mean, this is the season of overreaction. This is the season of preseason. If you look at the games they played, they're 2-0 in preseason. They look really good. When they played against the Blazers, I thought they looked so much more in shape than the Blazers. Mike Brown has them looking good. I mean, they won 126-94. They're playing well on both ends. And when we talk about defense specifically, the Kings defense, they were ranked 27th last year. And then in the year before, they were ranked dead last at 30th. Mike Brown is definitely going to come in and change that right away. He's only finished outside the top 15 in defensive rating only twice, and that was the Kyrie Irving Cavalier team in 2013, and when he had that Lakers team that was not that good, but they were still below top 20. When you look at the Cavs teams he coached, he had them at 3rd, 4th, 7th, 11th, and 14th in defensive rating. At the worst, the Kings get better at defense, and that's what they need help in most. Mike Brown's going to help them right away on the defensive end, and I think he was the right hire for this job. Then let's look at just the key players. I mean, at the top, the head of the snake, we have Darren Fox. Mark my words. Well, not mark my words. Darren Fox, he's definitely a candidate, maybe at the top of the candidate list of being a first-time All-Star this year. Darren Fox is he's not in that conversation of top point guards in the league. And even at young point guards, we don't really talk about him that much because, I mean, he's in Sacramento. They don't get enough media. They don't get enough attention. But Darren Fox, he's had a good career so far. We just don't talk about it. I mean, the last 2 years, he's averaged around 23 points and 6 assists. I mean, I definitely feel like this is a year that Darren Fox can make a big jump as long as he's healthy. He struggled with health last year. As long as he's healthy, now he's going to be put back into that primary ball handler position now that Tyrese Halliburton is out, and he played well after the trade, and I think he's going to benefit most from that. We can see the shot get better this year. Defensively, we just need to see more effort, and I think Mike Brown can bring that out of him. Darren Fox can be a first-time All-Star this year. And then when we go down, their biggest acquisition during the trade deadline last year, Domantas Sabonis. Definitely a big move for them. Like I said, he was in that trade with Tyrese Halliburton, and now they have a good point guard and big duo in Domantas Sabonis. Honestly, on top of my mind, they're one of the best guard big man duos in the league. A good duo. And when you talk about Domantas Sabonis specifically, stat sheet stuffer. He was an all-star already. He's going to consistently give you 20, 12, and 5. He is one of the best passing big men in the league. When we talk about those stats specifically in the 20, 12, and 5, the only other players in the league that are putting up those numbers, Giannis and Jokic, and those are 2 former MVPs. Obviously, I don't think Domantas Sabonis is in the MVP conversation, but he's putting numbers similar to MVPs. We want to see Domantas Sabonis get better on the defensive end. Like I said with Darren, I think Mike Brown's going to bring that out of him. He's not a natural rim protector. Domantas Sabonis, one of the solid big men, Mr. Do-It-All. He's going to be consistent for you every night. You know what he's going to bring on the table for you every night. And then when we talk about who they drafted this year, Keegan Murray at the 4th pick. I think it's fair to say that he surpassed our expectations of what he can be. I mean, everyone was expecting Jaden Ivey to get picked from Sacramento at the 4th pick, but there was the video or the report of him saying that being drafted by the Kings wouldn't be the worst thing. And he made it seem like he didn't want to be a King. Obviously, the fit wasn't going to be there right next to Darren Fox, and I think the Kings made the good pick in Keegan Murray. But Keegan Murray, what we've seen so far from him, he was a Summer League MVP. He showed right away that he's NBA ready. And then, like I said, it's a season of overreaction, so let me get it out. During the preseason, his first 2 games, he's played well. He scored 16 points in each. He showed that he can consistently hit the 3 ball. He showed that, he's going to be a threat from out there. He can finish the ball pretty well too as well. I mean, in college, he showed that he can score at the 3, mid-range finish. He's what, 6'8", 6'9". But yeah, at the end of the day, he's a high IQ player on both ends. On the defensive side, he showed that he can be a good defensive player. I mean, obviously, we have to see him still in the regular season. But from what I've seen, he makes good rotations. He can stick on players. I mean, when he was switched onto Damian Lillard, when they played in that first preseason game, he held his own. He had some high IQs on that end. So, I mean, I throw the two-way a lot. But he can definitely be a good two-way player for this team. Right away, I mean, whether he's starting or coming off the bench, he's going to play starter minutes. I think, through these 2 preseason games, Mike Brown has KZ Okpala playing at the 4 position. Mainly because of his defense. I mean, Mike Brown's very high in his defense. When he was coaching him for the Nigerian national team, he said that KZ Okpala could be, has potential of being a defensive player of the year candidate, which is very high praise from a defensive-minded coach. Whether Keegan Murray starts or comes off the bench, he's going to make an impact right away. And honestly, he could run away with the Rookie of the Year award. Like I said, he's going to get the minutes right away. He's going to produce. This is a team that's going to try to make a playoff run this year. Don't be surprised if Keegan Murray gets the Rookie of the Year. And then another guy that they added over the offseason, which I think was one of the more underrated moves this offseason, was Kevin Huerter. They just recently announced that he was going to be the starter for this team at the 2-guard position, and rightfully so. They picked him over Malik Monk, which is not, I would have made that decision too, because with this lineup, you don't need the shot creation that Malik Monk brings. You need the floor spacing for Darren Fox to go into the lane, for Domantas Sabonis to work down low. Kevin Huerter is going to provide that floor spacing. He's a solidified shooter in the NBA. I mean, he showed it through his career already. He got paid for it. He's going to provide that shooting for you, solidified floor spacer. And defensively, he's no slouch either. He's 6'7", provides the effort. I mean, he's not a lockdown by all means, but Kevin Huerter can provide you solid defense. I'd be throwing the two-way word a lot, but Kevin Huerter, two-way player as well, I guess. Another guy, I mean, we don't have to talk much about him. Harrison Barnes, Mr. Consistent, provides you 16 and 6 for you every night. Solid efficiency. We know what Harrison Barnes is going to provide for you. And then when we look more into like the bench role players, Malik Monk, another guy that just got paid by them this year. Another solid pickup. Malik Monk. I don't want to say he hasn't really had like a bad career. He hasn't. By all means, he hasn't. He just wasn't really relevant. I mean, he was with Charlotte, and then when he went to the Lakers, his relevancy went up again. He was one of the bright spots for the team. He was one of the better players on that team. He showed that he can shot create. He's a shooter, and he's going to be put in a position where he's a 6th Man of the Year candidate. Man, I'm just throwing awards left and right. First time All-Star, Rookie of the Year. Yeah, but no, Malik Monk can be a 6th Man of the Year candidate. He's going to come off the bench. He's going to have full reins of the offense, shoot whatever shot he wants. Malik Monk, 6th Man of the Year. Navion Mitchell, another player, going into his 2nd year. He had a good Rookie of the Year. He had a good rookie year last year. He averaged like 11 points and 4 assists, and he proved to be one of the better point guard defenders in the league. I mean, that's something he takes pride in. We knew that he was coming into the league like that. We just need to see it translate, and he's done a good job right away. I mean, there's clips already of him, locking up Donovan Mitchell. Not locking up, but having defensive plays on Donovan Mitchell, Paul George, Damian Lillard. Mr. Trust Your Work, productive season last year. I expect him to have another good year, especially being a backup point guard for his team. And another guy that, last guy I want to touch on, Richaun Holmes. I mean, this is a guy that's under the radar, but I like what Richaun Holmes does for his team. I mean, he's been a starter for them at the center position, but now Domantas Sabonis, I mean, his role is obviously clear that he's going to be the backup big, and he's a top 5 backup big right off rip this year. He can definitely be the best backup big in the league. But, this is a guy that's going to give you good size and athleticism. Only reason he's not starting is that he doesn't provide that floor spacing. Domantas Sabonis needs that floor spacing down low. Richaun Holmes going to give you 10 and 5 for you on a nightly basis. Just the big thing with him is health. But yeah, a solid piece off their bench. When we look at, obviously, I think they have the talent to do it. But let's think about this year and who's going to be in the playoffs and who is obviously not. When we talk about teams that are not going to be in the play-in for sure and who are going to enter their name into the Wembanyama sweepstakes, we got Utah, Spurs, OKC, and Houston. Those teams are not trying to make the playoffs. So right off rip, by default, this solidifies Sacramento Kings at worst the 11th spot, and at that point you're trying to compete for the 10th spot. That's a play-in. And in my opinion, if we look at that tier, the bottom teams in that tier, Sacramento, Portland, the Lakers, like in my opinion, that's what I think will be. I will probably come up with a standings prediction in the coming days, but I can see it at that. Like they're gonna compete against the Lakers and Portland for those last play-in spots. I think they're better than Portland, honestly. Like I made a video about Shannon Sharpe and Portland Trail Blazers, and I talked about how they're not that deep. With this Sacramento Kings team, the difference is they're a good team. They just got Mike Brown. He's a good coach. I just think they're a deeper team. Like I said, I named they're 9 deep. No, they're a deep team. Like I said, coming off the bench, Malik Monk, Davion Mitchell, Rashawn Holmes, probably Keegan Murray. This is a deep team. I think they're all around a better team than Portland. I mean, depending on what the Lakers do, they can be a team that's in the play-in spot or be a top team in the West maybe. I don't know. But yeah, I think they can definitely compete for that play-in spot. And at that point, once you're in the play-in tournament, it's fair game. If you have a hot night, you can beat anybody. And you just got to win once and then win again. Then you're the 8th spot in the West. That's my thinking behind it. Play-in is definitely a possibility. And at that point, like I said, it's fair game, and they can play their way into an 8th spot into the West. That's all I have for you guys today. Let me know if you agree or disagree on the Sacramento Kings making the playoffs. I definitely feel like they have the pieces. They made a change in the coaching staff. This definitely could be the year that they end the current longest playoff drought in all of major sports. But yeah, leave a like and subscribe. Thank you for the support you guys showed in the last video. I got a lot of love from that. But yeah, let's keep this thing growing, and I appreciate your support, like I said. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today, and until next time, peace.